What's up guys, welcome to our Canadian studio, and today we have a very interesting topic of bike sizing or even bike fitting. Since I've got some questions from you lately about bike sizing or different sizes of different models. The most interesting one came from Adrian from Sweden. Regards to Sweden, Adrian. Adrian says, hi, I'm 5.9 feet tall, which is roughly 178 centimeters, and have a rather short overbody but very long legs. Do you think a Trek Superfly 5 mountain bike at the size 19.5 inches would fit me? The store has only 17.5 and 19.5, so which one is the one to prefer? Very good question, and I'm gonna answer this one because the model that you have chosen is also good topic in terms of bike sizing and bike fitting. So here you go, you can see the bike on my screen. It's a cool looking bike. It's a Trek Superfly, very nice, nice color. By the way, what color are you gonna choose, Adrian? But in terms of the bike sizing, we're gonna go to the bike geometry, which is just down here, and as we know, Adrian is going to choose between 17.5 and 19.5 inch frame size. What we know about Adrian is that he has rather long legs and shorter upper body. So let's just look at some of the measurements, some of the dimensions that will tell us more about your position on the bike, Adrian. And then some that will tell us a lot about the handling of the bike. So how are you going to use your bike? Where are you going to be riding the bike? Let's just look at those first dimensions that I've talked a lot about in the bike sizing episode. It's the one here. It's not very clear, this whole graph here, but the vertical distance between the bottom bracket and the top of the head tube, which is our stock, and then reach, which is the horizontal distance between those two same points. Now, in terms of your leg's length, there will be no difference for those two frames because we have frame stack. So how large the frame will be, the geometry of the bike. And as you can see, for 17.5 and then 18.5 and 19.5, but you're gonna choose between 17 and 19.5, there is no difference. There is just 0.1 centimeters difference, which doesn't mean anything here. Why is this model good example? It's good example of just sizing being strange for many models in many brands. Nothing changes here for three sizes. Let's say this is like medium, large and extra large, 19.5. Yeah, we can call it extra large. Nothing changes in terms of the stack or the height of your frame, so nothing changes for your legs here. What changes a lot is frame reach. Once again, frame reach between G and C. So how far are you gonna reach on your bike? This will affect your comfort on the bike and your aerodynamics, and also the way you are transferring the power, producing the power. And if we look at those frames, now we can see the difference here in terms of the reach. 41.2 for 17.5 frame size, and then 44.3, which is a bit more than 3 centimeters of a difference, and that's a huge difference. So just in general, the bottom line for you, Adrian, is that you'll be able to fit into those three frame sizes. So definitely those two you're gonna choose between 17.5, 19.5. What you would have to think about is actually your reach. So it's not your legs, because your legs will be just having roughly same position on the bike, but the reach will be different. Now you can be playing with your stem. You can mount a shorter stem on the larger frame. You can just ride the standard stem on the shorter frame. or whatever. You can change them depending on how do you feel. It doesn't cost a lot, so you can just buy the bike and then figure out what would be better for you. So you will be able to fit into those two. But now some other things to consider is the geometry of the bike in terms of the handling. And I would be looking here at two dimensions. One is wheelbase and the other is the head tube angle. Yeah, I was going to show you this on the fork and I forgot. Okay, that's my headshock DD. Lovely headshock. All right, the wheelbase will be different for those bikes. As you can see, the wheelbase, the difference in terms of wheelbase is same as the difference in terms of your reach. So the distance between your wheels will be 3 centimeters, a bit more than 3 centimeters for those two frame sizes. What does it mean? It means that the bike will with the longer wheelbase will handle better, will be more stable on high speed, and the one with the shorter base will be maybe a bit more nervous but also more sharp in handling, and will be much better for like something like switchback, some single tracks with lots of turns. You should be considering that, Adrian. So how are you gonna be using your bike? And then the head tube length is also interesting thing here, but it's same for all the sizes except for the extra large. So same head tube length. But head angle changes here. We've got 69.3 for the medium size and 69.6 for the extra large size, and that makes the difference. What's the difference? The head tube angle will of course have the impact on the angle of your fork, and then the more slack the fork is, something like this will never be on your bike, but the more slack it is, the more stable the bike is again. So slacker head angle and longer wheelbase, more stable bike. The more the bigger, the larger the angle is, so it's getting closer to 90. It's never 90, but it's getting closer to 90 degrees. The bike will be easier to handle on some sharp curves, sharper turns, some switchbacks, but also will be a bit more tricky maybe on high speeds. So I suppose for this bike probably you're not gonna be using it for hitting like very high speeds, maybe more like for fun, just a bit maybe like a dirt bike maybe. In this case the bike with a smaller frame size will have a bit slacker head angle, so slacker, and the one with 19.5 inches will be a bit steeper. And it becomes even more tricky now because the medium size bike will have slacker head angle, and the extra large size, let's call it extra large, will have a steeper head angle, but then it's opposite for the wheelbase. The extra large will have longer wheelbase, and the medium will have shorter wheelbase. For myself, the angle of the head tube, I do feel the difference in terms of this angle, this factor, and the wheelbase is maybe a bit less important for me, but that's just for me. If you haven't been riding those bikes, and if maybe you're one of your first bikes, it will be difficult to make this decision, but I would stick to the head angle. I would really love to see some comments just beneath this video in terms of wheelbase and head angle. What do you think, guys? What's the difference for you? But in terms of position on your bike, just remember about the reach. There is also difference in the standover. It's also 3 centimeters difference. If you have long legs, it shouldn't be a problem for you to ride this one with the higher standover, the larger standover. But in terms of the position on the bike, the most important here would be frame reach, and it's considerably longer for the 19.5 inches bike. You would like maybe to hear which one should you prefer. I'm not sure. I think I would prefer the medium size, and that's what usually like pro riders would go for. Would rather try to fit themselves into a smaller frame size. Trek Superfly is not the bike for downhill, or you know, it's not really made for high speeds. So I think that the medium size would be just okay. But Adrian, if you're not buying the bike online, if you'll be able to check the bike in your local store and buy it then there, just now you know what you should be focusing on, and it's the reach of the frame. I'm looking forward also to hear from you which one did you choose, and maybe after a couple of rides, how do you feel on the bike. I hope this was helpful. I know it can be quite tricky, and I'm not the guy who knows everything about it. I'm just telling you from my experience. I was able to find a perfect mountain and road bike size for me, but I'm gonna be changing also my position and my feeding in this year, making more racing, or turning back to racing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon in another episode. Bye bye.